All right, so listen, y'all. I'm not going to make this video long. The times that we are in right now, this is actually, I can't say it's a good thing or a bad thing, but these times that we're in, it's both a good and a bad thing that is happening to all of us here on this earth. I think that it's a good thing that a lot of people are lonely. A lot of people are by themselves. A lot of people are away from crowds. A lot of people are going through this insane, crazy time. And that's needed because you can't possibly have an understanding of yourself until you are by yourself and with yourself and in the company of your own being and essence. You can't, if you're around other people, I'm sorry to say, you're not going to really understand who and what you really are. Now, the bad part is going through the rude awakening. That's the bad part. And I know, I know, I know, I know because I am. Now, this has, it has been a while. This has been leading up. I would say for me, what made me have, or what started my rude awakening in this world and in this life, I'm pretty sure it was when I watched a couple videos of George Carlin in his stand-up comedy. And he was talking about, it's the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. And he was saying other things about a whole bunch of other stuff. But he was one of the main sparks that took me on this very strange, weird, bizarre shifting that happened in my life. And I told myself, enough is enough is enough. I'm not just sick and tired. I'm done. See, that's what I was saying at that time back in around 2017. Yeah, 2017, summer of 2017. But I was saying I was done, but I didn't really mean it. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired a million times over. But I couldn't say to myself, I am done with this thing, and I'm done trying to be something for people. I'm done acting like something I'm not. I'm done masking and putting on the facade. I'm done forcing myself to try to be someone who I know that I'm not for other people and the crowd and the world. I'm done. And it took me up till this last year has been one of the most bizarre and horrible years that I have went through in my life. It's unexplainable, all the things that have happened to me. I might do videos talking about this, but I don't know. I don't feel the need to really. I'm going to put it into my craft and put it into my very essence, along the way, however much time that is. But it's this very strange thing that happened to me. Yes, it is a preparation to live, but it's also a preparation to die. It's facing both things. It's having the coin of contradiction in my hand. And instead of looking at just one side, I forced myself to look at both sides. And I didn't bullshit myself. Now, does someone like me have delusions? Of course. I am delusional. We're all delusional. We all live with delusions. But there's a difference between delusions and illusions. I don't have any more illusions. I still have delusions, though, because really, we all need delusions to cope. We need delusions to function. And we're all, whether we want to admit it or not, we're all deluded, because every time you think a thought, it's a delusion in your mind. Yeah, it's a thought, but when you think, like, you're picturing it snowing outside, the picture in your mind is not the real picture that you see when you look out the window. Those are two different images. So that's why I say it's a delusion. When you say, "Oh, I'm going to meet up with Fred later," you're thinking in your head of a mental image that when you meet him, what he might be wearing or how he's going to approach you, but that is your delusion. When you meet him, he got something else on. He might be acting different. You might meet somewhere else besides where you thought you were going to. You see what I'm saying? Once you discern these things, that there's a shifting that happens. And I call 2024 was the year of the great shedding. It was the year of shedding the snakeskin for me. And I'm sorry, this has to be a me thing. This has to be an I thing, a me thing, because it's for every individual to search their own soul, to search their own being, their own essence, their own understanding. And I truly believe that you have to be by yourself for long periods of time to have an understanding of yourself. Otherwise, you will not have an understanding of yourself. So count it as a good thing. And if you're going through this rude awakening, yes, it's a bad thing. It's a crazy thing. It's an insane thing. It's something that I can't even describe. I mean, I had the most bizarre dreams. I had things happen that I can't even explain, like I literally lost my mind. I went insane. But I'm so glad that it happened now that I look at it. I'm so grateful that this happened to me. Even though at the time I wasn't. At the time, I was cursing everything. I was cursing everything. Saying F this, F that. I'm done with this. This is bull crap. I hate this. Just absolutely miserable, absolutely hating everything and everyone. Just saying this is the stupidest thing ever. This is like a cruel, sick joke that was being played on me. But it's kind of funny how that cruel, sick joke gave me some kind of, like I say, rude awakening. It made me see life in a whole different manner. Yes, I still have an ego, but it's hard to describe when you know what the ego is. You figured it out. You see it in people and you know it in yourself. There's a lot of things about the ego that I hate, that I despise, that if I could get rid of forever, I would, but at the same time, I would like to still be reminded of it. You see what I'm saying? It's like I don't need it, but I need to be reminded of it because it shows me something along this life journey. It's like it has to be there, but you don't need it. You see what I'm saying? It's in your cabinet, but you're not going to reach for the paperwork in the cabinet. And see, I don't even remember why I did this video. I don't even remember why I did it, like why I started the video or even started recording. It's just all that I can describe it as is it is this shedding process of the ego, the programmed, indoctrinated, conditioned mind. And you see things for how they really are, but you're still willing to admit to yourself that, yes, I'm still delusional. I am delusional. But see, the I am that I speak of understands that we are literally a delusion. And I think that that is both the beauty and the ugliness of it. See, you can't escape the contradiction coin. You cannot have contrast without black and white, without good and evil, without light and dark. You cannot have contrast. So therefore, if you don't have this coin, if you don't hold the coin in your own hand and take it for what it is and be alone with yourself, with the coin, and observe the coin, then you're going to be stuck in this matrix mindset of how you thought that you were. But you are not what you think you are. I'm telling you, you and I are not what we think we are. We are not what we think we are. I am not what I thought that I was. But I'm a whole bunch of things. I am the contradiction. I am the gatekeeper of Mandala. You see, I am a hypocrite. I am going to contradict myself because when people are so used to labeling things, you see, that's where the judgment comes from, is when people label things. When you're doing good, then they keep expecting you to do good. But what happens when you're having a bad day or you have something on your mind that doesn't go with what you were doing for the last week? What if you were wearing red every day and then one day you decided to wear blue? Oh, well, you were a blood for a week. Now you're wearing blue. What, did you turn into a Crip? See, it is literally insanity, but it is so insane that you go sane. And when you go sane, let me tell you, you are going to stir people's energy up like no other thing in the world. When you are real with yourself and you are intact with your own kingdom and you're authentic and you're not bullshitting and you're just being what and who you are. But what does that even mean anymore? What I am, who I am. This is why I keep giving myself all these different names, because I am of many. I am the gatekeeper. I say these things both seriously and metaphorically. I say them artistically, but I actually mean what I'm saying. See, this is something that George Carlin, this is why he was a genius, because he used comedy as a smokescreen to hide the label of philosopher or truth teller or someone that doesn't bullshit. See, he used that because he didn't want all of that stuff. He didn't want all the extra baggage that would come along with if he called himself a philosopher or he said, oh no, I'm George Carlin and this is who I really am. And he just spoke how he spoke and he wrote books about, like, say he would just call himself an author. It wouldn't have been the way that it is because he called himself a comedian. People called him a comedian. See, he did a jargon move. He hid himself behind jargon, but he put on this show for people, but he actually meant every word that he said. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. And see, all that I look for in my life is to have my solitude and to be inspired. I don't care about anything else that is going on in the world other than, is it going to give me solitude? Is it going to help with my needs and with my artistic abilities? And the other word that I said, I lost my train of thought, but the craft. Does it have to do with the craft? Does it have to do with my solitude? If not, I don't. I just, when I say that I'm done, it's this thing where you are so for sure of yourself that even when you imagine something, you will put that out. You will bring it forth. You will let it be known. Even if people say, oh, that's crazy. This dude lost his mind. This dude's nuts. What are you talking about? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? See, it's still the people that are still judging one side of the coin, but yet they are literally both sides of the coin. It's just they act like they're only one side of the coin. They act like, oh, I'm such a good person. I seen the light. Now all I'm doing is chasing the light. Sooner or later, that light is going to blind you. You need a little bit of dark in there. You need a little bit of naughtiness, a little bit of stank, a little bit of stankage in with it. Because without contrast, there is no creativity. If one does not have contrast, if one does not understand his mandalism, if one does not understand that they are contradiction, that they are hypocrisy, that they are both sides of the spectrum, until one comes to that understanding, then they are going to be the fake version of themselves, because every time they want to do something, they're going to be scared to do it because they're so used to showing the world that, look, I'm this thing and I do this. And if I do this other thing, then they're all going to say, oh, why are you doing that now? Oh, well, I thought you were this way. Now you're doing this thing. You literally, the only way that I can explain it is you literally have to die before you die, and you literally have to find the goodness and compassion within yourself unto the point where it becomes almost hate in a way, because you're so compassionate about things that it turns into hate, because the things that you're seeing that you're compassionate about, you see how unfair things are. You see how one-sided most people are. They only use one side of their brain or this side of their brain. And they're neglecting the other part, the other side, the other attributes of themselves. Your essence is literally contradiction. Your essence is yin yang. Your essence is black white, up, down, left, right, sky, ground, hot, cold, good, bad, light, dark. The soul is contrast. That's what it is. It's contrast. The final realization is contrast. And some people, you might not be there yet. You might not be to that understanding yet. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just, are you willing as an individual out there? Are you willing to observe yourself and observe the world? And when you look at the world, you turn it back on yourself. And when you look in the mirror and you're looking at yourself, you can look at the world with that mirror. That's when you are going through what they call this awakening thing, which there is no other way to me other than to have a rude awakening. You must have a rude awakening. You have to. Or you're not going to understand, because if you're neglecting one thing and favoritizing another thing, you're not going to learn about the thing you're neglecting. And the thing you're favoritizing, you're just going to look into that thing, and then you're going to be comparing yourself. See, there's something that people do that I have a problem with, and I don't even think people see that they're doing this, but if they do it, they can do it. It ain't like it's such a big deal that I'm going to sit here and have a fit about it. But when people say things like, I'm on a higher vibration, I'm on a higher level of understanding, I'm on a higher plane of existence, what do you mean? What are you saying when you say that? That doesn't make sense. Just because you're higher, I'm higher, so now I can look down upon. I'm higher, now I'm better than them people that are lower. It's see, you're still in the world of comparing yourself to. You are still in comparison's lane. See, the one who knows themselves, they do not need to compare to anything. See, when you say something like that, what you mean is you have found something different. It doesn't mean you're on some higher plane or higher dimension or higher existence. I know it's just a metaphor, but still, if we really knew what we were saying, we wouldn't say this. See, once you understand that you are the coin of contradiction, once you understand that you, in essence, are the epitome of contrast, you can't say things like that anymore. Because what you will say is, now I am on another paradigm. I am on another plane of how I exist. I am on another plane of how I go about thinking or seeing the world and how things work. That is when you will start to develop with this contrast. You will start to develop a way of seeing the world as in, now that I see it for what it is, and I can't accept these things, but I can accept these things. I can do this, but not this. Like you just know better. Then you will start saying to yourself, I have nothing else here to do but to create of my own thing. Now it's time for me to create my sanctuary in here first. There has to be a rude awakening first. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And I truly believe that that is what is happening to a lot of people right now. Is a lot of people they're saying, I'm lonely, I'm miserable, I'm hating life. Good. Good. It's a good thing because you're learning something. You're getting so sick and tired of being a certain way that there's going to be no other choice but for the metamorphosis to happen. You are the caterpillar dying. And what comes after a caterpillar dies? See, then you'll have an understanding of what it is to be at the rock bottom, the ditch, the abyss, the horrible things. But then you will have the ability to fly. You will know what flying is. And you will know what you do not want to go back to. And those things that you've learned from, it is an evolving. You are evolving. And one must go through the metamorphosis to evolve into the butterfly. That doesn't mean that the butterfly isn't going to get blown by wind. It doesn't mean that it ain't going to get hit by a flying pebble or that it ain't going to have problems. But when the butterfly is flying, I don't know if it knows that it came from that state, but we know as people that, well, damn, I was in that horrible, bad state and I was going through all of that. And instead of lingering there, which it's still going to happen from time to time, but now I have a choice. If I want to fly, I can fly too. Because I already know what the bottom is. I already know what the horrible things are. I have already went through the drug addiction and the chronic pain and the mental things and just everything that goes on. So now my conscience, my conscious state is telling me that's enough. Now I'm listening to my own intuition and my own gut of where to stop. I'm not forcing it anymore. I'm not trying to make it anything. It just is what it is, and it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. So yeah, I just wanted to do a quick video, and it's just expression. Expression, solitude, and I forget what the other word I used was, but it doesn't matter because it is what it is. And it's going to be what it's going to be. So with that, This is up to the individuals out there to, this is to each their own. See, Nate doesn't matter to you anymore. You should matter to you. And when we reflect, we should be able to see something within the other people that we see within ourselves. Because the only ways that we are different is by our circumstances, our egos, and the way that we think about things. There's nothing else different with us at all. So in saying all of that, I would appreciate if anybody could help support the channel. I will have a link in my PayPal. I don't care if it's $1, $5, $10, $20, whatever it is. Thank you. It is based upon a need. And like all of us, I'm a need machine. So if you help me, all you're doing is really helping yourself. That's how the world is when you help someone else. It's just basically helping yourself, because everybody needs stuff. So it's a circle. It's a train that goes and comes, goes and comes, the coming and the going, the coming and the going. Yet again, the coin, the contradicting coin, it's always there. And once you have that mindset of contrast, it's just different. I can't explain it. You become more creative in your approach to life. So anyway, if anyone would like to help support me, thank you. Take care of yourself. And until next time, if there is a next time. Later.